Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to create a successful mood board for your starting point for your inspiration. So the first thing I need to do is create a new presentation PowerPoint. So open that up. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is go into my Google to get images of what I need. So remember, when we're looking for images, this is our inspiration. This is our starting point, okay? So the first thing I'm just going to type in might be food items. So when we're doing so, make sure when you go to your Google images, the images that you're going to be using are of a large size. So you go to your tools, size, and click large. So anything smaller than that is now filtered out. So when you're creating your mood board, there will be good quality photographs that you're using. So I might, quite like the fruit. So for you guys, you would copy and paste. So copy image, go to my PowerPoint slide, and I'd paste it over. So every time that we do anything on our mood boards, we only use the corners to change the size of something. Never do anything from the top to squeeze it in position or to cram it because you've got a small space. So never do anything like that. You will only ever use the corners. That keeps it in proportion. Okay, so I need to get more of them first of all. So I'm just going to collect a few more images to explain our next steps. So you'd copy and paste yours over, because mine's a Mac, it's just easier to drag and drop. Okay, so now I have quite a few images to start my my mood board. Okay, the first thing, there's two different ways you could create your mood board. So again, we only ever change something from the corners. So we can either put them side by side, so you have very little sort of like space in between. So they're going to vary now in sizes, and they're going to overlap. So that way you're going to have a crisp sort of montage outcome with them. So then this is where you play around with right clicking, either moving it to the front, moving it to the back, making sure that you can see everything. So if I was to just do the top line, I'm going to move this to the front as well, and then move this slightly behind. So as you can see, we're covering as much negative space as possible. So we're going to fill the entire space. And then from here, I would then have my mood board title, and then making sure that it has a border on there. So when I mean a border, that's where you're maybe putting, I don't know, it'll probably have a box on there. So I might change the size of there, fill the space in what I've got, so I've not got too much negative space. And then if I put that at the front, be careful in what pictures you've got. I would then overlap it over behind my in front of my pictures that I've just done. So that's your first style of a mood board. The second style of a mood board is, if I was to double click on these images, I might want to put like a simple border on these. So by doing so, I would look at, so soft edges, maybe having sort of like a faded drastic sort of look on there. the effects in terms of artistic ones. Wait for it to load. They're obviously editing your photographs, so you need to be careful that you don't edit much of your photographs. From here then, I might put some sort of strong box to them. So now they've got a border on each on my boxes. So if I was to do exactly the same for the rest of them, I'll just show you this one a second. So you'd want to make sure that they are the same thickness when we're doing yours. So mine obviously aren't, so I need to look at this one. What size is that? So that's my 9.25. So I would do 9.25 for this one. So they're the same. And then in terms of presentation, this is where I use the cursor to my keyboard, so my direction ones. And I would have a very small border around my pieces. So by doing so, you're creating a different technique, which is a bit more more graphic sort of style. So you've got the way of overlapping them, obviously right clicking and changing sort of where they are in terms of moving to the back, moving to the front, or you have a go at changing the outlines of them so they're either a solid line. You might not want them too thick. You might only want them to have a bit of a subtle box to them, like so. But again, you would make sure none of your images are touching, and you would have that very tiny negative space in between.